Emergency in the air? The world was stunned when a video leaked from the plane showed Taehyung sitting on Jungkook's lap, and more than just a fan service frenzy, this moment was accompanied by blood flowing from Taehyung's nose. What was really going on behind that sudden hug? Is this pure closeness of friends? Or is there something much more serious and hidden from the public? Is Taehyung's health deteriorating? Why does Jungkook seem so frantic and protective? And what made ARMY's heart tremble the most? What did that hug mean after all the rumors and pressure they were under? Emergency on the plane? Jungkook hugs Taehyung as this happens. What's wrong? No one is really ready to see it. Not the ARMY. Not a passenger plane. Perhaps not even the managers and staff who accompanied the flight. In the freezing seconds of time inside the cabin of a business-class plane, one scene has triggered panic and excitement that cannot be explained in ordinary words. Kim Taehyung sits on Jungkook's lap. Not in the joking context they usually show. Not in order fan service to please the ARMY. But in a truly unusual situation, as a drop of blood falls from Taehyung's nose, just as Jungkook hugs him tightly and whispers something that hasn't been revealed until this very second. The video, which lasted no more than 12 seconds, was recorded by a passenger sitting not far from their row and spread like wildfire across the dry grassland. The worldwide fanbase from Seoul to Sao Paulo was instantly made to tremble. Time seemed to stop as the clip was replayed thousands of times, with fans trying to read the lip movements, facial expressions, even small beats between the two of the world's biggest idols. But behind its virality, there's one lingering question. Is it just a lighthearted joke or an emergency signal that the public doesn't yet understand? If this is purely a joke, why is Jungkook's expression so tense? Why didn't his body move when Taehyung leaned back? And most astonishingly, why didn't Jungkook try to clean up the blood first, but instead immediately pulled Taehyung into his arms? Is it a natural reflex of a person who is being frightened? Or is there anything that should not be seen by other eyes in the plane? Some of the known ARMY actively analyzed Taehyung's interactions, quickly responding with speculations, theories, and of course, concerns. One of the biggest fan accounts wrote, "The way Jungkook hugs Taehyung is not a friend's hug. It was like the hug of someone who thought he was going to lose something valuable." All of a sudden, the comment lit up the embers that had only dimmed behind the scenes of BTS's togetherness. As we dive deeper, the context of these events becomes more complex. Just a few weeks ago, the two, along with 5 other members, completed their military service. BTS' long-awaited reunion has finally become real, and they've even flown together to the United States to prepare for their first global album post-military scheduled for release in the spring of 2026. But the public knows, returning from the military does not mean everything is fine. Taehyung is known to have experienced mental stress during his tenure, especially after an internal scandal between HYB's social media department and falsification of public interaction data, which also dragged down big names including himself. Although never officially confirmed, rumors of an emotional link between Taehyung and Jungkook during that difficult time continue to surface and be discussed to this day. When the world suddenly sees Taehyung having a nosebleed and spontaneously seeking comfort in Jungkook's lap, who can ignore the possibility that something much more serious is going on. Fans also began to pull the red thread back to the various small clues they found, like Taehyung's blank stare while appearing in a CocaCola commercial, where he became the latest ambassador. Many called the ad cold and not like Taehyung normally, even suspecting that he was being forced to perform amid unstable conditions. Was Jungkook's embrace on the plane the culmination of all that pressure? Why did HYB keep letting them go on such a long journey in these conditions? Who should be responsible for the mental and physical health of its artists after the military? One interesting thing, the reaction of netizens split into 2 camps. One side sees this moment as proof of the incredible love, loyalty, and closeness between 2 best friends, maybe even more than that. Many have called their interaction a savior of feelings amid the harsh news surrounding the K-pop industry. But on the other hand, some people refer to this as a sign of danger, that the public too often normalize the conditions that are actually worrying and actually cover up the danger signal with the label fan service. Furthermore, not a few began to accuse BTS management of not being responsive enough to member health issues. If this is just a normal nosebleed due to cabin pressure, why do you have to sit on Jungkook's lap? Why is there no staff to help? Asked one of the viral comments on Weverse. Many regretted HYB for not giving an official statement, not a single statement, even just to clarify whether Taehyung was already in good health. And until this news was written, not a single representative of Big Hit or HYB had yet spoken. Even BTS's official account remained silent, as if it didn't see the storm that was going on out there. But will the public stop asking? Of course not. Will we continue to silence this moment only as entertainment, or start digging into what is really hidden behind that embrace? Have we laughed too long at wounds that should have been wept? What is clear? The video has become a portrait that cannot be forgotten. A snapshot that changes the meaning of the word hug, from a symbol of affection to a big question hanging in the air. And when the cabin of that plane landed in America, we all knew a new chapter in Taehyung's story had just begun. And the question is no longer, what happened on that plane? But what are they hiding from the world? What exactly was Jungkook whispering in Taehyung's ear as blood slowly descended from his nose, amid the increasingly stifling cabin air pressure? Why didn't he panic openly, didn't call the crew, didn't look for a tissue or towel, but instead hugged Taehyung as if he were hugging the whole world that was about to collapse before him? One recording, just one, is capable of creating a global storm that not even an official statement can stop, especially if there is no statement at all. The sounds in the cabin were not recorded, but their facial expressions could not be lied to. Taehyung looked tired, pale, and momentarily closed his eyes in silence. Jungkook, who is usually full of energy, froze. One hand on Taehyung's back, the other gripping the chair, as if it were holding a storm within itself. For some fans, the expression reminded them of the moment in 2018 when Jungkook held back tears when Taehyung couldn't continue his performance at the concert due to fatigue. Some even juxtaposed the two images in one post and said, 5 years on, but Jungkook remains Taehyung's refuge. But this time it feels different. More quiet. Deeper. More dark, not just because of blood, but because of the mystery that surrounds it. Speculation is inevitable. Some health experts who were spoken to by the fanbase said nosebleeds on planes could be caused by air pressure, acute stress, or dehydration. But one detail cannot be missed. Why does only Taehyung seem to be affected? Was it unstable from the start? An unofficial source from the airport said that before boarding the plane, Taehyung was seen talking for a long time with the management staff in the VIP room without smiling and reluctant to answer greetings. It was even reported that he turned his head and avoided the crowd of fans, which is usually his favorite moment. There was something that made him tense, said one of the anonymous security officers. What about Jungkook? Why is he the fastest to react? Even faster than the flight crew or their personal manager. One of Taekook's biggest fans posted on Twitter, now X, Jungkook is probably the only person who can read Taehyung's body language without needing words. He knew something was wrong before we even saw the blood. That is why he immediately opened his arms. That's not a normal reaction. It's instinct. And perhaps that instinct came from the long journey they had been on together. From a dorm trainee and his teens to becoming the two main pillars in a global empire called BTS. They are not just friends. They are living witnesses of each other. But still, there is an empty gap in the middle of the story. One quiet space that neither theory nor fanfiction can fill. That empty space is the truth. Something that has not yet been given by the official parties. Is Jungkook's hug a short farewell hug? A hug of fear? Hug, if this is the last time you are weak, I will be strong for you? Or a silent embrace of love that only the two of them can understand. And this is what makes netizens tremble. Is this a sign that one of them is hiding a serious illness? Is there any medical information that is deliberately not disclosed to the public for the sake of preserving the image? We cannot forget that the K-pop industry has always been famous for strict, even excessive, information management. Many idols only reveal their diagnosis years after suffering in silence. Is Taehyung one of them? There are also rumors about Taehyung's secret schedule in America. Some fans suspect that he will undergo further medical observation related to blood pressure disorders and migraines that have long been mentioned vaguely in radio broadcasts a few years ago. However, not a single official source dared to answer directly. Even more surprising was the reaction of the other members. After the viral video, none of the BTS members gave a public response, not even through likes or reposts. Even RM, who is usually active on social media, was suddenly silent. Is this a crisis control strategy from HYB? Or do they also not know for sure what happened? BTS's trip to America this time is actually aimed at recording and preparing their first comeback album after all the members have completed their military service. The album is touted as the most ambitious project, as it will involve a variety of world producers and touch on the theme of unity, wounds, and the healing process. Ironically, if we look at Taehyung himself appears to be a symbol of the wound that is not healed, the healing process just the theme of the album, or a reflection of the real wounds they're going through, while fans around the world made hashtag protect Taehyung and hashtag Taekook flight emergency trending in less than an hour, HYB remained unvoiced. There is no clarification, no confession, no consolation, and finally, the public returned to the video, a hug in the cabin of the plane, with one drop of blood and a million question marks. A video that was only supposed to be a brief moment, but is now a silent witness to a possibility that is much deeper, more emotional, and more alarming than we imagine. The hug a sign that Taehyung is asking for protection? Does Jungkook know something we don't? And is that their silence now is a form of resistance, or an unspoken apology? What would happen if a giant company stood still in the middle of a storm? What does silence mean when millions of eyes demand one sentence of explanation? In Korean entertainment, silence isn't just gold. Sometimes it's a shield, sometimes it's a weapon. And HYB, the agency behind BTS' success, now stands on the brink of a burning question. What are they hiding from the rest of us? The 12-second video, which shows Kim Taehyung sitting on Jungkook's lap on a flight from Seoul to Los Angeles, is not an incident that can be wiped clean as a visual miscommunication. Especially with the blood coming from Taehyung's nose, Jungkook's serious expression, and none of the crew being seen helping out in the video. But what was most disturbing was not the visuals in the video, it was the company's reaction. Complete silence. It's been more than 72 hours since the video went viral, but HYB and Big Hit's official accounts didn't post any clarifications. Even a simple Jungkook and Taehyung are fine was not heard. Not a single company spokesperson, PR staff, or manager appeared to ease the fans' panic. Instead, what emerged was an invisible movement behind the scenes. Several accounts that reshared the video claimed to have received DMCA strikes. Several large fan bases on Twitter were suddenly deactivated, and active army accounts raised theories about Taehyung's condition were suddenly blocked or limited in reach. Why is HYB trying to erase traces of these events instead of explaining? What are they afraid will come to the surface? Several anonymous sources who claimed to be part of the BTS staff team leaked the astonishing news. Taehyung was indeed not fit when he got on the plane. He was even advised to rest in Seoul for a week, but there was pressure from international sponsors who demanded the presence of all members at the album launch. If this news is true, then this is no longer just negligence, but a structured form of exploitation that HYB herself is currently under the spotlight after working with CocaCola, a global brand that has just made Taehyung the main ambassador for Asia. The controversy arose because Coca-Cola is still considered problematic in some countries regarding environmental and labor issues. Many in the army felt Taehyung's role as Coca-Cola's face was not only coercive, but put him in a vulnerable position. Too much exposure, too much pressure, and too little time to breathe after being discharged from the military. HYB too quick to push Taehyung back into the limelight in pursuit of financial goals. If that's the case, then Jungkook's embrace on the plane wasn't just a personal one. It became a symbol of resistance to the system. Jungkook knows. He always knew when Taehyung was losing his balance. From the concert stage to the plane cabin, Jungkook has always been Taehyung's anchor. But is he alone strong enough to continue to sustain all this alone? In the footage that many fans dissected, there is a moment where Jungkook is seen whispering something in Taehyung's ear, and Taehyung's eyes slowly close, as if calming down. One professional lip reader tried to interpret Jungkook's lips and claimed he said, "I got you. Just breathe." If this is true, then the words are not mere comfort, but a sign that Jungkook is calming someone who is on the verge of panic or collapse. Meanwhile, the medical community on social media began to join the voice. Some professionals say that sudden nasal bleeding and a resigned expression like Taehyung's can indicate very high blood pressure or even neurological symptoms. And what is terrible, such a condition can be aggravated by emotional stress, lack of sleep, jet lag, or overwork. Everything Taehyung is going through right now. And on the other hand, there are other voices that attribute all this to the internal conflict that was never resolved between the members and the management. Still fresh in memory when a few years ago, Jin indirectly insinuated label pressure on the members in a V-Live broadcast. Is this just another chapter in a long story of idols working beyond the limits of human ability? What makes all of this even more stifling is the fact that fans can only watch, guess, and speculate without being able to touch the real truth. HYB continued to build her wall of silence, and the public could only guess. Was their silence a refuge or an evasion? And ironically, all of this comes as the world welcomes BTS return as a whole group for the first time in over 2 years. It should be a celebration, not a panic. It should be about music and reunion, not blood and hugs and fear. But reality cannot be. They were once referred to as two complementary poles, Taehyung with his artistic poise, Jungkook with his unbridled energy. Like day and night that never collide, the two actually reflect each other's light. But now, amid the post-flight mystery, the world is asking, is that balance beginning to crack? Is Taehyung, who has always been the foundation of BTS's emotions, now at the end of a precarious rope? The incident of nosebleeds and hugs on the plane not only rekindled the chat about their closeness, it also opens a Pandora's box that has long been locked by the public, behavioral changes that we have been ignoring. After the viral video, fans began to reassemble the puzzle pieces of their interactions over the past few months. And what was found? What a surprise. First is the conspicuous absence of direct interaction in front of the public during early promotional activities after the military. Although they appeared together at airports, sat close together at international fashion events, and were on the same shooting team, not a single verbal interaction was captured on camera. No joke. None of the usual eye contact triggers the rumble of fans. Even as fans chanted the name Taehyung, the two simply smiled and nods, with no response in what has long been known as a sign they understood the secret code of the army. Then came the next fact. The last live video showing the two together was removed from the official channel. Not explained why. No announcements or notifications are given to channel followers. Just gone. As if it never existed. Why is the interaction that used to be proud of now deleted? Who decided to bury the recorded memories? And now, after the incident on the plane, there are other alarm signals. Some fan sites known to be close to Taehyung's manager mentioned that Taehyung will be restricted, temporarily, for recovery reasons. But before the public had time to digest this news, the posts disappeared from their respective accounts. Only screenshots remain. Then comes another, more extreme theory, that this is not just a physical recovery, but a rapprochement. What does that mean? According to a source close to the fanbase, the personal relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung was fragile during his military service. Despite being in a different division and time of enlistment, pressure from the media, fans, and even the brand that made them the golden duo made both feel deprived of personal space. Taehyung is an asset, said one source. And they were given no choice but to look familiar every time. If true, then the incident on the plane was not just a nosebleed, but an emotional climax of accumulated fatigue that could